Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm in my pajamas. I'm ready to go to bed, but we're starting a new Let's Read segment, and I simply couldn't wait. So we're going to be starting our next Archangelology book, and we're reading specifically about Michael. So if you caught my short, you got a little understanding of just exactly what Michael can help us with. So let's go ahead and learn more. And of course, this book, like the other one, is written by Angela Grace, and I do have an Archangel Michael statue. If you caught my last Archangelology book on Raphael and you saw I think it was the first video, I shared that I have an Archangel statue set that I got for Christmas last year, and I hadn't put them out yet because I couldn't find a place for them. But I have several of the Archangels that we're going to be reading about in the set of the set of book that I have, these books that I have. And here we have beautiful, they call him down here, Archangel Miguel. And actually, archangels don't technically belong to a gender. So Archangel Raphael is also known as Archangel Raquel. Archangel Gabriel is Gabrielle. Archangel Michael is Archangel Michelle. So they don't belong to a gender. They're just an energy. But the way that they are depicted, and this is the way that most people sort of associate angels, is in the form that we're seeing them like right here. And that's totally okay. Angels will come to you however they know that you're comfortable with, and they do know that this is how they are depicted. So a lot of times people will see them in this form, but most of the time we feel their energy or we see a light. And Archangel Michael is associated with the color light blue. So like this right here, this is an angel light, just a little rolled stone. And then I do have a dyed crystal right here. Ooh, almost just dropped it. It's just a dyed, I don't even know, it might be just like a quartz crystal that's dyed. It's really pretty. I wouldn't work with it. You're not supposed to work with it dyed or heat treated crystals because it changes their energy. This is just from what I understand. And I don't do a lot of working with crystals. I will use them sometimes when I'm doing anything with my chakras, but for the most part, I just keep them around the house because they're pretty. So I have this one and then I have the other one. And then of course I have my statue. So I wanted to share him with you. And most people do know that Archangel Michael is the archangel of protection. So they will call on him when they feel any type of physical or spiritual threat, especially. But he also can assist us with other things. So let's learn more about this beautiful angel of protection, Miguel or Michael. Just put him over to the side here. Okay. So we're going to start out with the introduction as always, and thankfully enough, even though the same author wrote all of these books, the introduction is different in each one. So this isn't going to sound redundant if you're listening to each one of these and following along with each chapter. If you skip the introduction, that's totally fine. Obviously, you can do whatever works for you, but I like to read the whole thing. All right, so this is the preface. So this was not in the last book, so we're going to read this. This book is for those who often feel vulnerable, unprotected, depressed, anxious, and alone. If you are one of such people, do not lose hope. Saint Michael is filled with light and love, and he wants to dispel these lower energies from your life. You have not come upon this book or are currently reading this description by accident. This moment has been divinely orchestrated to make you enjoy a fulfilling and happy life on earth. Those who are already believers in the Archangel and divinity in general will find increased enlightenment and a deeper appreciation for the power and beauty of Michael. If you are not a believer, then you are truly fortunate to have found this guide. Michael's energy is ancient, sacred, reliable, and powerful. He can protect you in a crisis and give you courage to face any challenge. It doesn't take much to invite such supreme and benevolent energy into your life. However, many have failed repeatedly to do this. You may even be reading this kind of book, the spiritual kind, for the first time. This guide will reveal to you the simple and effective way to form a lifelong relationship with the Archangel. Each page of this book has been blessed to bring you ever closer to complete healing. From the first chapter, you might feel Michael's warm presence. This, you will learn, is a sign that the Archangel is with you. He is on your side. If you desire the wisdom, protection, and guidance of Archangel Michael, then proceed to the first page and be enveloped in light. This book contains exercises on mantras and affirmations, which you can use to transform the negativity that usually clings to us, Archangel Michael meditations and visualizations, how to heal your family, friends, and pets with the help of Archangel Michael, and much more. Wishing love and light to all readers. Now here's the introduction. My life. Before I would become engrossed in what one might term esoteric spirituality was quite lovely. There was nothing particularly striking or fulfilling about it. But with a house that provided a scenic view of the ocean, a relatively rewarding job that allowed for such luxuries, and a spouse who complimented me physically, financially, and mentally, you would agree that a lot of people would envy and aspire for that life. What more could I ask for, right? To be fair, I was grateful for the things and people I had. However, neither material possessions nor a populated and active contact list of mostly superficial friends is enough to give anybody a true sense of fulfillment and success. This is most likely not the first time that you are presented with this school of thought, and you might roll your eyes at it. Yet it stands as one truth that many people would only discover after they have given up years of their life for a false vision of success. I felt divided between trying to be productive at work and being the fun, lovable, and put-together person that my friends and partner expected. This meant that I had very little time, if any at all, to attend to my personal concerns. Suffice to say that I was constantly enveloped by anxiety, and it wasn't helped by the fact that no one in my life could relate with me. I would reach out to my partner, family members, and friends, but what was now my aching reality seemed abstract for them. As you might expect, this made me think that I must be damaged somehow. I needed some escape. Whenever people are dissatisfied with what they used to long for, they might act out. For me, this was my consuming scary volumes of alcohol and by any means necessary demanding a confrontation. Since not many people can exist in the toxic environment that I had created around myself, I started to lose those I cared about. My partner called it quits, and some of my friends stopped coming back after I pushed them away. My mental health was in shambles, and I was getting increasingly depressed. The combination of a spiraling mental and emotional well-being is never a good recipe for success at work. And sure enough, my productivity saw an all-time low. The poor maintenance of my body meant that I was constantly ill, and I was quickly coming to the resolve that no longer existing was the only solution to my mess of a life. I no longer had a partner who would miss me. My parents had never thought much of me and were vocal about how useless they thought I was. My friends, for all I knew, were now only shallow individuals, but they had no emotional connection with me. Taking my own life at the time seemed to me a more appealing thought than continued existence. As you will discover in your journey with the beautiful Archangel Michael, nothing in life happens by chance. I would find the light I desperately needed in the most unusual of places, on a shopping trip. I quite literally stumbled on crystals in a shopping center. As I moped out of the building while staring at the floor, I bumped into an old lady. This snapped me into reality, and I quickly apologized and bent to pick up her shopping bag. Then I stood up to behold in a store window the blue, starry, and mesmerizing wonder that was a geode. And then she says here, in my book, Crystals Made Easy, I discuss how this moment in time turned me into a fervent crystal collector. Even though I could not explain what made them such spellbinding objects, their beauty and calming effects were irresistible. Again, fate would direct my path towards further enlightenment and peace. This time, it was through my friend Linda. All the books I've written, the people I've been able to help, and the joy and contentment that I now enjoy in my life may never have happened without the gentle guidance of the friend who was unlike any of the others I kept. She came to visit, and we launched into a long conversation about my personal healing, crystals, Reiki, self-acceptance, and more. With her prompting, I continued the research that would bring more concepts like chakras and Archangelology into my field of view. I began to let go of the hurt and accepted a peace that was superior to all the mental and emotional trauma I had suffered. The archangels are superior to every other angel and most supernatural beings. Michael is even more special as the archangels are his subordinates. He is an especially pretty yet terror-inducing sight. The Archangel Michael is often shown in paintings resembling a winged human and wearing a colorful robe, exuding light from his face, wings, and other parts of his body, and wielding a bright sword. He is God's warrior and the protector of everything pure and good. The first aspect of Michael that I experienced is his ability to heal. As I described earlier, I was broken and felt no reason to continue living. The crystals and Reiki started the healing that I needed, but it was Michael who gave me the determination to continue on that path. Michael has the power to heal the body, mind, and spirit. Through love, he can fill you with the courage you need to dive beyond the hurt and into the depths of your soul, where your immeasurable strength and real beauty lies. I can only imagine that at this point you are anxious to know more about this powerful and loving archangel. It is true that the greatest forces in life are those we cannot see. No one can see depression, yet we feel its grip around our necks and its weight pushing down on our chests. To live without the protection and guidance of Michael is to become overpowered by your fears and hurt. The level of bravery and confidence that you need to stare down a terrifying diagnosis, the loss of a loved one, or extreme loneliness is inhuman. Without confidence and calmness in trying situations, one is most likely going to make all the wrong decisions. And Michael does not discriminate. He is willing to help defend even your pets from harm if you need him to. The mission of this book is to help you see the beauty and necessity of Michael and teach you the most effective ways to call upon him. I encourage you to open your heart to the friendship of this extraordinary archangel and all the goodness he is prepared to flood your life with. Okay, so let me see. We'll read the first chapter here. I think all of these have 11 chapters, and that would actually make sense because 11 is an angel number, as most people might know 1111. And just like the last book, this one has 11. So we're going to read the introduction and then chapter 1, and then we'll proceed with 2, maybe 3 chapters in each section so that we don't have very many segments and we can move along if you're anxious to learn about the other archangels and how you can work with them. All right, so chapter 1, Michael the Protector. Even God must have been in awe of his creation when he named the leaders of angels Michael. This name is translated in English as "who is like God," and the sheer might and courage of this archangel exemplifies this name. In the Bible, we see the loyalty and bravery of Michael at play when he stands up against the rebellion started by Lucifer. With no direct help from the Almighty, Michael battles with the firstborn of the angels and defeats him. The Torah describes an angel who is assigned to be the protector of Yahweh's people, Israel. The Kabbalah, a faction of the Jewish faith, presented the archangel as one who guides the souls of the righteous into heaven. Muslims also acknowledge the existence and power of Michael. The Quran explains that he blesses the righteous for their good deeds. Michael is able to share his strength of character with those who shun evil and bless them with protection in dangerous situations. Although the belief in Michael extends to numerous religions, his responsibilities are often the same or similar. Lutherans believe that he is the guardian angel of those whose jobs are inherently dangerous. These include soldiers, police officers, and first responders. Jehovah's Witnesses insist that he and Jesus Christ are the same person. However, the consensus remains that Michael is the loving and magnificent protector of all things good. The curanderists, who are traditional healers in Latin America, let me make sure I said that right. Curanderists starts with a C. traditional healers in Latin America call on Michael to protect everyone from sailors, swordsmiths, the dead and dying, bakers, bankers. In time of temptation, they ask him for the strength to put up a worthy resistance. The curanderas, I don't know if I'm saying that right, curanderas, create many protective amporos or amulets, one of which is called the St. Michael Amporo. This particular protective charm is considered one of the strongest, as it is dedicated to the warrior archangel. The St. Michael Amparo can shield you from low malevolent energies. I need to fix my spine here because some of my words are cut off. It is surprising that, as devoted and awe-inspiring as Michael is, he is mentioned less than 5 times in the Bible. Could this be by design? In those few instances where he appears in the Christian scriptures, people attempted to worship him. John in Revelations fell to his knees in worship when he was faced with the archangel. This apostle, by all accounts, was fully dedicated to Yahweh and Jesus Christ, and never would have knelt to other gods. But he assumed through Michael's appearance that he was in the presence of God. Michael emitted a light so bright that it was impossible to look at him for too long, and his voice could stop the hearts of even the bravest men. As such, he might try to limit his visit to man to avoid being worshipped as God. However, we can pray to him, as you will learn in this book. Michael the person. Note that the word person does not always refer to human beings. In the context of this subtitle, it will be used to describe Michael as a conscious individual who displays emotions, a sense of reason, intelligence, and a complex psychology. Michael is a fighter, and it is in this role that we often find him in many stories. In his legendary and heroic battle against the devil, Michael single-handedly engages Lucifer in both his angelic and dragon form. Although there is a lot to learn from this story, it would be remiss of us to ignore the conflict that Archangel Michael must contend with in his existence. You might possess prior knowledge and appreciation for the archangel before reading this book, but you are probably only looking at his status as an icon. If you would like to build a real, loving, and lasting relationship with Michael, then he must have a form outside art and folklore. Say that 10 times. He must become living, breathing, feeling, and palpable to you. Let's attempt to understand the person that is also Archangel Michael. He is both warrior and a healer. You might think that since Michael is the defender of good, it would be easy for him to also be the healer. With appreciation for the complexity of his divine personality, the warrior and the healer are 2 distinct archetypes. This is made even more pronounced by the fact that he was created to excel in both abilities. The warrior archetype puts Michael in a position where he's persistently beset by the need to conquer. Even though he might want to try more peaceful alternatives and appeal to his desire to heal, the archangel cannot afford to be seen as vulnerable. His courage and willingness to keep fighting not only keeps the enemy, Satan in this case, hesitant, but emboldens the angels in his charge. If all aspects of the warrior archetype stays true for the archangel, then he very likely wrestles his craving for praise and adulation too. Since he is also Michael, the loyal and devoted archangel of God, this can be very challenging when men seem all too eager to bow at his feet. However, the stories we have heard of Michael and the experiences of those who have accepted him into their lives would suggest that the archangel manages these conflicting archetypes well. He, in fact, seems to favor the healer in him more than the warrior. And when he must defend, we see his loyalty and courage. As opposed to any kind of hubris, as human beings, whether you're a man or a woman, we also have the potential to be warriors and healers ourselves. And many of us struggle with these choices every day. Since TV and popular media would have us think that warriors are violent and that healers often get the short end of the stick, we might respond with aggressiveness when a much calmer frame of mind is a better solution. When you pray and ask for Michael's protection and guidance, it is not wrath or vengefulness that you would feel. Rather, Michael's presence is as energetic as it is peaceful and comforting. We have a lot to learn from leaders of angels, and he is all too eager to teach. Archangels and their elemental energies, so he is connected with the element of fire. If you have ever seen a painting of Michael, you may recall that he was enrobed in blue cloth or wearing blue armor. Let me see if he is wearing blue armor. This light in here is not the best. I think he is wearing blue, like a grayish blue. Yeah, at least in this one. And he's got, looks like the devil or an evil spirit under his feet. At the very least, there's often something blue on his person. This color is symbolic of the might, godly devotion, and courage that Michael personifies. Other times, the archangel is seen wearing red, which could be a result of his connection to the element of fire. Oh yeah, he's got a red cape on. In many religions, fire symbolizes awakening, truth, and purity. Michael can help you pursue not just the truth about your environment, but yourself too. He can hold your hand as you resolve to live a more righteous and disciplined life. Now we have air. So we're going to talk a little bit about the connection from a few of the archangels, not just Michael. So Raphael, who we just read about, associates with the element of air. And Raphael, as a reminder, his name means God heals. Raphael is an archangel who is associated with air. While Michael is both warrior and healer, Raphael's primary role is healer. He can mend every aspect of what constitutes a human being and help people live more fulfilling lives. He is most commonly depicted in art wearing the color green, which is an energy associated with prosperity and healing. This color also illustrates his connection to the earth. He is quite skilled in making medicines and can utilize everything from fish to leaves in order to treat injuries and various ailments. And in my Raphael statue, he is holding fish, so that makes sense. It's funny that she didn't put this information in her last book. This one's a little bit different, even though they were both copyright in 2020 and I think written back to back. So she went in a different route. So we'll get a little history about a few of them. All right. So he's from fish to leaves and can utilize everything from fish to leaves in order to treat injuries and various ailments. Raphael can also help you deal with mental, emotional, and spiritual turmoil. You can call on him for strength solutions and guidance if you struggle with depression and addictions. This archangel not only brings new knowledge about general health, but also has a charming sense of humor. If you visit the bookstore and find a healing book on the floor and in your path, this might be Raphael making himself known to you. And now we have Earth. According to science, the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, and life has existed on it for 3 billion of those years. This means that the Earth is reliable, and this is a virtue associated with the archangel called Uriel. Another reliable phenomenon is wisdom. Uriel devotes most of his existence to learning and gaining wisdom, and he occasionally shares this with mankind. If you also feel like some parts of your life are out of control, Archangel Uriel can grant you stability. His name is translated in English as God is my light, and he can help you deal with confusion and doubt. As such, students are often encouraged to reach out to Uriel when they are preparing for a test and need the extra support. We will read about Uriel as well a little further down. Water. If you were suddenly asked to name an archangel, Gabriel might be the first that comes to your mind. His name is translated to mean God is my strength. And you might think that, like Michael, he is frequently in battle. But this is not the case, as God often relies on Gabriel to reveal important information to people. Water is synonymous to clarity and reflection, and Gabriel's revelations often achieve these too. Typically, his messages are never confusing. Like water, Gabriel helps people to pursue purity of the soul, body, and mind. However, he does not stop at delivering messages. Some of the information that Gabriel conveys can be quite heavy, painful, or even scary to receive. This means that the individual would require superhuman strength and courage to take the news and act on it. Gabriel can and does empower people with the boldness to do the will of God and make the best decisions for themselves. And oddly enough, when I was looking up her books on archangels, and specifically these that she's written, which are all similar, just with the different angel and the color they associate, she does not have one on Gabriel, at least not where I looked. I would love to find one if she does, because he's so well known. So I would wonder if she made one, and maybe I just didn't see it. If you happen to look for one and find it, let me know. So I think that was the end. So we kind of learned a bit about Archangel Michael, but then we learned a little bit about a few other of the archangels. So that was nice. So in chapter 2, we're going to read how to easily call upon Archangel Michael. And then we'll go on to exercises, mantras, and affirmations. I do expect that this book's layout will be quite similar to Raphael, but obviously the exercises and the visualizations and the things that you will say will be different. So I'm really hoping this will not be redundant, just switching out the name of the archangel that we're reading about, basically. And I'm hoping so. I think that we're going to see a lot of different verbiage, I'm pretty sure of. I really, really hope so. Yes, it does look like it. So that makes me happy, because they each have something so unique to offer. And though mantras and affirmations, even though we're going to use the same concepts, what we will say and do will be different. So we'll have a lot to learn in this book as well. So we'll go ahead and stop right here, and we'll read on with chapter 2 and 3 in our next video, learning more about the wonderful and beautiful and protective Archangel Michael. So until next time, please take care of yourself. Please take care of those around you. I will see you all again very soon. I love you all very much. Thank you so much for joining me, for listening, for learning, and for growing for yourself, and ultimately for all of those around you. They always benefit. I will see you guys again soon. Take care until then. Bye.